First item on the agenda is minutes. I'll have a copy of that team to look at them. Any questions? Feel free to bring those out now or what you see any at a later date. And now next month we'll point out together and some things are ready. Anybody got any kind of questions regarding minutes? Not, we'll move to the second item on the agenda, which is the Recreation Commission. Have vacancy on that board, and Becky Soto has expressed an interest. We haven't had anybody else I know of. I'm endorsing Becky to be currently the chairperson. I think we have an interest sometime, time and stuff. It should be a good person for us. Don't go another route. I would recommend it. Any questions? Concerns? Now we move on to the third item on the agenda. Evaluation of proposed planning policy. Basically what we want to do is just take into consideration some of the things that's been recommended for consideration for us, primarily the review committee. We talked about the review committee and just take a couple of the current zoning applications and look at them considering the review committee policy and just see how they will play out. Just give us an idea of how that will work. And I'll ask Josh to take a couple of the consideration applications and go over them.
Yeah, I'll pull something up in August, you'll see a proposal for a text amendment to the zoning ordinance, which introduces this review committee that was recommended by the committee over the past couple of months. Look at what we're doing with the planning commission and why we do what we do, and this text amendment just introduces the idea of a review committee that will look at rezone, conditional uses, variances, really anything that I will bring to the board of commissioners to decide whether or not it needs to go to the planning commission or whether it can go straight to the board of commissioners. And for as an example, something that we went over last week. One of the rezones we looked at last week this one right here, this is what it's going to look like, application for rezoning. There's some information here. This is rezoning 0.063 acres. It is simply to include this sliver right here in the neighboring tract. When this property was foreclosed on, the bank realized that the well that served that home was on a different lot. And it turns out that the zoning for where the home is and where the well is different. So in order to include this little sliver right here where the well is with the original lot, we have to rezone that piece of property. So this is one of those that, to me, seems very simple, and instead of going through a 2-month process, this is the type of thing that under the review committee, I could have brought to you this week, rather than waiting until August, which is when you'll actually see this. So this was brought to me in early June, and we could have had it handled, in early July, rather than wait until August 13th. Have it accomplished. So that's just an example, a recent example of a simple one. And there are 3 others that we went over last week that are very similar to me. chairman of the board of commissioners or vice chairman in his absence, the district commissioner that serves the area where the property is located, not necessarily where the applicant lives, but where the property is, or some representative in his absence, the chairman of the planning commission, and planning administrator. And if all four of those individuals decide that it's unnecessary for something as simple as that to go to the planning commission and to come directly to the board of commissioners, then they will be able to do that. Now, if one of those individuals decided that it needed to go a little more scrutiny, and if you weren't quite sure about it, then maybe, we need a little more public notice, a little more public input, a couple more eyes on it, then one of those people can direct it to the planning commission and it'll go through the normal procedure of this company.
In other words, it has to be unanimous.
It would have to be unanimous to come directly to the board of commissioners. Similarly, there are some that either they're not in accordance with the comprehensive plan, or they have some level of technical detail, like this one that we looked at this past week, that requires a comprehensive site development plan. Something like that might take a little more scrutiny than taking it directly to the board of commissioners, simply because it requires a comprehensive site development plan. There's parking requirements, there's landscaping requirements, and other things. DDOT's involved, the Department of Agriculture is involved, and so there's a little bit of complexity. We might recommend that I want to go ahead through the planning commission in order to make sure that we get good advice before we make a decision on it. So the first example I showed you is one that's very simple that could potentially come directly before the board of commissioners. And what I'm showing you there is something that requires a little more scrutiny, a little more time to soak it up and understand exactly what's going on as far as stormwater or traffic or impact. That may need to go directly before, may need to go to the planning commission first.
And that would be something you would be able to see. You would be that one who would say it needs to go on to the planning commission.
I could be that one. Any of the other ones could be as well. And so the text amendment that you'll see in August simply introduces that committee and that procedure into the governing order.
When you talk to the current planning commission members about what we're doing here tonight, what we're proposing.
That's correct.
And their response is?
They're in favor of it.
You can't tell them from the smoke. It's just something like this. Just normally one message is all for it. You don't bring it up to the community.
You know it's going to be. You come in the door and he says, this definitely got to go. But he's one of those ones that can send it there. So there's no point in calling anybody. He just goes to plan.
But even if I do feel like it can go straight to the board of commissioners, that any one of those other three individuals could say, well, I like us to get more more.
You know, it's no sense involving anybody else.
Right. That's right. Are there any questions about that?
So that committee has to be on each and every case.
Yes.
They'll have well enough on it.
No, there's no blind on it. It's just this. That's it. It's automatic going. That's all they're going. I ain't gonna come for that committee. It's all for these things that could come for us. That'll be the first step.
Any other that would bypass the planning commission would have to go forward. Not any of them does. I don't want to go before the planning commission. He said right from the get-go, it's got to go before the planning commission. No, it doesn't have to be. And really, I just want, we talk about it. And I think a lot of people think it makes sense. I just want to give you an example of what's really happening, and see how it applies and see if we still want to go forward with that phase of proposed changes. So we'll require a resolution and public hearing, not necessarily a resolution, but a public hearing. And, we're gonna do that, we can do it next month, we have a plan.
We'll have it over there.
I have draft currently, but it needs more eyes on it, it needs a legal review, and it needs more people to look at it, and yes, this does reflect what we talked about in the committee.
Yeah, I think the next step is probably just wait a few moments to review it. And we look at it, but it does need a legal review, and you know, we would need opportunity, for public hearing, give us opportunity to look at it, scrutinize it even more. So, we don't want to do that before we leave the process. Any other questions regarding that? If not, we'll move on.